Put your hand up if you took a foreign language in school. Yeah. Keep your hand up if you learned a foreign language in school and you can actually speak it. Down. Everyone's hand goes down. Put your hand down. Put your hand down. No one learns a language in school unless you went to a special immersion-based school. No one. And this does not pertain to the US, the UK. We have done our research because generally speaking, we think that the people in America, people in the UK, because they speak English, they don't want to learn a language. Well, guess what? All these European countries, these African countries, these Asian countries where these people speak more than one language generally have exposure to that language through other means. They're not learning it in school either. So their traditional method, the method that you learn in school, the one with the charts, the grammar, the stupid sentences, the never speaking, the spending all that time in your mother tongue, it doesn't work. It doesn't work, all right? And so the goal of today's video is not just to shit on Duolingo, which we will, of course. You know that's one of my favorite things to do. Why doesn't the traditional method work, all right? Because in order for you to be successful as a language learner, you need to avoid the traps, right? If you were trying to invest money, you tell this person, well, you're gonna have to stop spending like crazy, stop buying Ferraris every day, okay? Let's put that in the bank, then let's put that in these investments, and let's put that here, right? You'd start making sure that they avoided the things that were giving them and causing them harm. And that's exactly what, essentially, we do in our first 7 days of our course. But I digress. I'm basically I'm gonna tell you this. I don't care. I don't care if you buy my course. I don't give a shit, to be perfectly honest. Go check it out if you want to. If not, I'm gonna tell you all right here, all right? So the very first thing that you have to understand is that grammar, the charts, the sentence structure, and not spending enough time in your target language are the #1 reasons that you're failing in school. Before you've even learned the language, they're trying to get you to understand every single rule, even these minute, crazy, weird ones. You don't know those in your mother tongue. There are all sorts of rules that I could put right here on the list. You have absolutely no idea. You have an intuitive way of understanding that I have to say an apple. You don't know what that rule is called. You know that you can't say a apple. You don't know why. Sorry, there's a bunch of, I wish I could show you guys what's happening. I'm in India right now and there's a bunch of dogs chasing what's either a cow or a bull. I don't know. Travel around the world enough, nothing will surprise you, right? The point is that after you are learning the rules, they want you to now engage. We don't do that. I'm sitting on a football pitch, all right? Soccer, whatever, football, soccer. I'm sitting on this pitch right here. I did not take 20 years of rule-based learning in order to then know how to kick a ball. No, you go, you kick the ball, and they find out, oh, okay, so what's the goal here? I'm just trying to kick it in the net. Yeah, oh, I try to pick it up and throw it. No, you can't do that. I can't do what? No, you can't pick it up with your hands and throw it in the goal. It's not part of the rules. Oh, okay, and then you keep going. That's how you learn languages, my friend. You do it through things. This is why everyone, and once again, I'm a college dropout. I already said that I'm an idiot, okay? So you wanna go into business? Get into business. Much of the theory is not going to help you. You're going to learn on the job. Now, of course, there are exemptions to this and whatever. That's not for this video. I had a discussion with Alexander Arguelles, who has a PhD, maybe has a few, right? All right, this guy is a proper linguist, but the type that you wish all linguists really were, right? Because when he went into his language learning, they forced him, essentially. They basically told him, you can't do anything unless you have your PhD. All right, so he does the PhD, but truly what he wanted was to understand, speak, and communicate in all these different languages. And so he found and devised all these different ways, and then he talked to his colleagues, and what he discovered, and we can throw this up, I mean, there's a podcast, we'll link to it in here, or maybe I could throw it up right now. None of his colleagues were actually learning languages. They were just studying the theory behind it. And that's exactly what you have in your traditional method. And that traditional method is now what you get forced fed into Duolingo just on, on a word that I can't say. Can I say? I don't think I can say on. You guys know what I'm saying, though, all right? And that's what you've got in Duolingo. You need to avoid all this. You need to slow down. The method and the approach that you take to it has to be completely different. We have to dive in first, and then we will learn the language. That's how you learn grammar, all right? And so what we teach in those first few days of our course is for you to understand that you're going to learn grammar. You just want a cursory, superficial look at the rules. Are there feminine, masculine, neuter, genders in this language? Cool, okay, now I understand that it's one of those languages like that, okay? So I can recognize generally this. I don't try and memorize anything. Camera overheated, what are you gonna do? It's hot here in India. Can't do anything about it, all right? But as an example, if you just look like and say, es una silla, una, okay? Una silla, great. So you know that it's una. If you said es un sia, you're still going to be understood, which is honestly one of the biggest, greatest, most important ethos of our entire language learning method, which is seek to be understood and seek to understand. That's it. If you can go with that attitude when you are trying to communicate, you will start to use other things around you, context, facial expression. All of these other things are going to allow you to communicate. You need to start there, because if you didn't have, oh my God, these stupid apps are so stupid. It's just dawning in my head how far off they are. How little information, how little context you get, how little it actually does to give you what you need to learn a language. Duolingo sucks, because the whole part and the problem that we have with the traditional method is that you go to learn and memorize stuff, and the second that you're done taking the test, what happens? You don't remember anything. You guys don't remember anything. There's nothing there. Yeah, a few weeks go by and there's absolutely nothing. A few years go by and it's as if you didn't do anything. They're wasting our time. Do you understand? It's like when I talk about this, and sometimes I talk to people, and you guys will see this. We did a full documentary on Duolingo. It's coming out on the other channel. It's probably almost ready, or maybe it's out. I don't know. We'll link to it. I'm talking to a teacher who doesn't want to admit that this is a problem. By the way, it's not that some of these teachers don't know, and I'm not blaming the teachers right here, because teachers email us. You guys, it's wild. They know it's not working. Imagine if you are working for 10 years in a business. Maybe at the beginning you start, and you think, oh, that's great, like I'm a teacher and this is fun, and you see these, but 10 years go by and you notice none of your students are ever learning. They come back, they can't speak. What is the point? So you start to question what you're doing, right? And then you start to think, well, you're looking at these new kids that you have in your class and you want to think, this isn't helping, right? These teachers email us, all right? And they're begging us. So I'm having meetings with them. So guys, more on that later, right? But this is a thing, right? Whether we want to admit it or not. And like I've said in so many of the other videos, just go find the successful people. Who's successful at language learning? Great. Oh, you're a polyglot? Okay, awesome. What did you do? Oh, okay, so you didn't do Duolingo. You either? Nobody. Nobody. It's not their go-to for anybody. How are there 133 million people a month on this app? It doesn't work, all right? Here's another thing that happens in the traditional method is that they get you a nice vocab list, all right? They tell you the vocab list, they list those words there, they got the definitions right next to them, you're supposed to memorize those, and great, you're done, all right? The thing is that within this vocab section, they're kind of close. They're almost there, because you can take a high-frequency vocab list, all right? So pay attention if you are a person who loves to learn words. I'm not a fan of flashcards, okay? That's another thing. There are people who love flashcards, and it helps them to do things, but generally speaking, I don't see how you using rote memorization, flip back and forth for you to get it, makes any sense. It's a loss of energy. You are not getting the most bang for your buck by using flashcards, in my opinion, period. There are better ways for it to stick and stick quicker. But if you want to use them and you've used it for other stuff, I guess, all right? Here's how I would organize the vocab list. You get your high frequency words, the ones that we know are utilized in day-to-day expressions, colloquial speech, all right? We go grab those. We create around that something that allows you to engage with the language, meaning a story at your level, comprehensible input, being very important for you. You go and you look at this, okay, cool, I understand, all right, boom, cool, we got those words, those stories about that, great. And then we want to jumble that story up again, because you're really going to learn these languages when you see them in different contexts, in different situations, all right, said with different emphasis, in a sad time, in a happy time, when the dad on the show says it, all right, and then the little kid says it all funny, right, and then when they get in an argument about the thing that's there, right, you're going to learn that because you've seen it in different areas, in different places. That's how the brain learns. It does not learn by you just flipping the card over and just thinking like, this is a chair, okay, like it's just not going to happen. Or it's going to happen just at a horrible rate, absolutely horrible rate, all right? So if that's dealing with vocab. I've already talked about grammar. The other part that you never get, or at least you don't get in a proper way, is that you spend most of your time in your class, of course, speaking in your mother tongue. All right, so if you're in the US, the UK, obviously you're gonna be speaking English. The majority of the time, you're not gonna get a whole lot of Spanish. You're gonna spend maybe, I don't know, 2 minutes, 5 minutes when they break. I don't know, I'm trying to think back until I got to my honors level Spanish, which is the only reason I could speak Spanish already at that point. I was just taking them for the easy A, which I got, right? Only in those advanced classes do you then spend your time in Spanish. And you think, oh, well, that's crazy. Like, how can you spend time speaking Spanish in a beginner's course? You can. Through comprehensible input. There's tons of ways. Why are we still using this method? It doesn't make sense. And as you can see in that clip that you'll see in the documentary, no one has an answer. No one has an answer. This is not one of those like, I don't know, where did we come from? Where did humans originate? Are there aliens? Like we can't figure this out. Like we can't quite figure it out. We figured it out. This is what drives me insane. We figured it out. We know what works, you guys. Now, is there a perfect method? No. There's a perfect method for you, though. It's going to require some introspection. It's going to require some self-mastery. It's going to require some discipline. But I can guarantee you that if you avoid the things that we know don't work and start to utilize some of the things that we know that do, you can find the perfect method for you, and you will learn languages like a freaking insane person. All right? So, I don't know. I feel like I should end this video there. I don't even know if it's recording once again, like I say on all these videos. Did they get the flag up? They didn't get the flag up. Sorry, I thought it would be cool if they got the flag up while we were doing it, but peace.